My thoughts on the X-Men cinematic universe. Please reboot it ASAP, as soon as possible. You had a nice run. You had some good movies there and some bad ones. Your continuity is a freaking mess. It is so jumbled and screwed up. You need to reboot it. Please. Start with the original 5 X-Men. Tell their story in modern times. Please don't mess with any 60s. I know it was created in the 60s. It's real cute to try to set it there. That's why you got this new mess in your continuity now. You had not Days of Future Past. You had First Class. You call it First Class, but that wasn't the original First Class. You had it set in the 60s, and then somehow Xavier and everyone else still looks the same age in the 70s, and now they look still the same age in the 80s. I mean, are you people not even watching or realizing how stupid that looks? They're not aging. At least not the right way people should age. I know some mutants age slower, like Wolverine, Mystique, okay, whatever. But not everyone. So your timeline is a freaking mess. Stop it. After this last Wolverine, which I really don't care for personally, I don't understand why people are so excited over it. It doesn't feel like an X-Men movie. Give us X-Men. I grew up on the 90s X-Men cartoon show. It was a good show. It wasn't perfect. I definitely don't think it was perfect, but it was definitely very faithful to the comic books. Now, I don't expect Wolverine to run around in yellow spandex and blue pants or overalls, but please do it over. Do it the right way. Tell the stories that were so big in the comics, but tell it linearly. Start from beginning, then continue from there on. But you need to start with the First Class, the real First Class. Let me see if I can count them off or say them off right. You got Cyclops, Jean Grey or Marvel Girl, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. That's the original 5. Not all these other weird people you had in your version of First Class. That's not them. Start with these 5 like in the comic books. Tell the story of teens struggling with these powers or curse as they see it sometimes. Show them go through it. Tell their stories separately. I didn't watch Apocalypse yet, so I don't know if I'm regurgitating what they did in that movie. I couldn't tell you. I didn't care to watch that movie. It just looks so horrible. I was not going to pay to watch that movie. If it comes on TV, I might glance at it, but I'm really not excited to watch that movie at all. Do it the right way. Use the right characters in the right way. In the movies, you have Scott Summers' younger brother being older than him. I don't know where you guys are going with that, but that does not make sense. It's like you people making these movies now literally don't know the connection between these characters in the comic books. You don't know who's related to who. You don't know who's supposed to be older than who. You don't know who's supposed to join the team at this point or that point. You have Nightcrawler in Apocalypse as a teenager. Okay, I'm a comic book fan. I always say that, but tell you the truth, I don't really read comic books like that. But I know enough that Nightcrawler joined the team when he was older. He was part of the new team after they rebooted the X-Men comic book and they made them older and they changed the team. I think they're called X-Force. Cyclops was leading them. That's when he joined. Colossus joined. I think Storm joined as well. They were the second wave of mutants in that comic book, if I'm not mistaken, from the original First Class with the Beast and all. So why are you having Nightcrawler be part of the team that's supposed to be the original ones? Why? I love Nightcrawler. He's an awesome character. I love how he was played in X-Men 2. Alan Cumming, I believe is the name of the actor. He did a great job. Great job. I wish he would have came back for 3, but 3 was a mess, so I'm glad he didn't touch that pile of dung. Ugh, disgusting movie. But I just, there's a lot of these series that continuity is horrible. You know, you might have had some hits here. Days of Future Past was not bad at all. It was a fairly entertaining movie, but even in that one, you had, who was it, Quicksilver. He looks like he's about 10 years younger than Magneto, but yet I hear in Apocalypse he says Magneto's his dad. So was he having sex when he was like 10 or 11? What the hell? That doesn't make any sense. Just a mess, a jumble mess. Please reboot it. Reboot it. Get some of the comic book writers to help you figure out who's related to who and who should be in what movie, because you guys need some help. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know the relationships between any of these people. Nightcrawler is Mystique's son. You guys had them right next to each other in X-Men 2, which I think is the best X-Men movie thus far. Still the best to me. And they did not even acknowledge this. Like, they just were in the same scene together, and they're like, hey, you can change to different people. Why would you? Come on. How about, you should have Mystique, like, trying to stay away from him, or maybe, like, changing into something different so he wouldn't think, hey, you're blue like me. What's that about? Seriously. Should have done something with it. And they didn't acknowledge each other because clearly the people that made the movie had no clue they were even mother and son. They had no clue. Rogue was Mystique's adopted daughter. So they're a whole family right there. Mystique, Rogue, Nightcrawler. They're all family. But that was not even alluded to in those movies. So you people need to get your act right. Your continuity was screwed up ever since, I guess, 3. But if you want to be realistic, you could go back to 1. You can go back to 1. Because the team there, you had Iceman being a kid who was one of the original X-Men, but yet Cyclops and Jean Grey are grown people. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? And you have Angel come in part 3. He's younger. He's supposed to be part of the original 5. I don't know how else I can say it. They don't know how the characters work in the comics. They don't have a timeline of who is used or who was part of the X-Men when. So you need some structure. You need to not be contradicting yourself. And please try not to touch any of that time travel stuff, because that seems to be a bigger mess. I know X-Men does a lot of time travel, but try to stay away from it as much as you can. Because, God, stop. Just reboot it, okay? Thank you very much. That's it for this video. Thank you for listening. If you want to subscribe, thank you very much. Deeply appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.